Alright, welcome to another video. In this video we're doing part 1 of Archaon the Everchosen. Oh god, let's get this out of the way. And in this video we're going to be painting Dorghar, his mount. We're not doing box colors. We're going to do this is a gift for my brother for his birthday. So what I'm going to plan on, his army of Slaves to Darkness is Nurgle based, so I'm gonna kind of go with a lot of Nurgle colors on this. Like the skin's gonna be the green, the belly is gonna be that brown, and then probably the spikes and stuff are gonna be like a fleshy like pink color, either that or black. And then we're gonna move through some of this other stuff. I don't know what the color of the hair is gonna be yet. Yeah, so this is going to be part 1 of this. What I've done is, and we're going to be using contrast paints for most of this, of the dragon. For the actual guy, for Archaon himself, we'll be painting him to look like my brother's army, which is like the box art mostly, with purple capes and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty easy. But this guy is going to be gigantic. So what we've done is we primed him black first. And then from there, I did a like zenithal spray, which is like when you kind of go at an angle at it with a white spray paint. So that way we have our shadows kind of built into the model, and that's going to really help our contrast paints stick to this thing. Kind of just I'm looking at the box art to kind of get a mapping of where colors are gonna be. So you can see like where all this brown is where I'm gonna have the brown on this model. This green is pretty much what we're going to be going with for most of the skin. And so yeah, I'll just, if I'm pausing, it's because I'm looking at this to kind of get where I'm going to put my greens right now. We'll paint the Slaanesh head the right color for the Slaanesh stuff, and the corn head the right color for the corn beast. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here. So we have some contrast paint. We're going to start with Plague Bearer flesh. Let's get that shaken up. And then just kind of start putting it on. I'm going to kind of try to be a little careful with some of the areas, but for most of it, we're just putting this guy on. And so you can see like that shadow is going to really help us out right there and give us like a nice transition of colors. So like you can get a lot of the work done for you if you're smart about it in your priming step. And that's really what I tried to do here. And yeah, so this is going to be a little weird kind of trying to wield this around the camera. So I apologize in advance for any super weirdness that happens. Because it is a pretty large model. It's bigger than the Imperial Knights. He's probably about like, I would say 1 3/4 of a knight tall. It's pretty big. He's a big boy. Just trying to remember that we are going to be doing that fleshy color on the bit here. And we'll probably be using real paint for the hair, whatever color we decide to do that. So don't worry too much about it. Let me see. Remember, I'm just kind of every once in a while looking at that box art to see where the colors are. I'm gonna do my best to avoid hitting the nails, because I am going to be making all the nails probably that pinkish, fleshy pink color. And we're gonna get this section out of the way first and let it like super dry before we move on. So we can see on the box art the other hand, the inside of the hand is the black color, so we'll be able to put the color throughout this whole hand here. I don't know if my brother's gonna like this model. I'm a little bit selfish. I really wanted to paint this model, so I bought it more for that. But if he doesn't like it, you know, I can always take it from him and display it or give it away on the channel or something. So it's not a waste. It's not a waste. I'm trying my best to keep him in frame this whole time. So you can see kind of where the separation is supposed to be of the fleshy skin bits and the carapace. So I'm just trying to follow that the best you can. I'll probably be like repainting these skulls white and getting over those later. But just, you know, keep that in mind when you're doing stuff that you're gonna have to go back over at some point to get some of this stuff. And we're trying to knock this contrast out of the way first because it's gonna need to dry before we start airbrushing the wings and all that other stuff. So just get that out of the way. It's okay if we bleed over a little bit because the paint that we're using for the not too much, so you don't want to go crazy in there. Because when you airbrush, it's a little bit transparent, so you want to be careful that you're not doing too much damage to the model. I dig this color so far. I mean, green's my favorite color. I mean, haven't been shy about that, saying that on the channel. So I mean, I'm a little biased being like, oh yeah, it's green, it's cool. I'm hoping my brother uses this in LVO, the Las Vegas Open. But I was like, oh, he can replace his Chaos War Mammoth with it because he's using like a converted Lord of the Rings elephant as his Chaos War Mammoth, and I think it looks kind of lame just because it's not, you know, the Lord of the Rings game isn't the same scale as this game, so it's just a little, and plus like Chaos War Mammoth is supposed to be kind of big, and it's not that big, it's pretty small. The Lord of the Rings elephant isn't as big as you think it is. So you know, just kidding. But like I was saying, this guy's 800 points though. So if you know anything about Age of Sigmar, is that you know that their games are usually 2,000 points. So if this guy's almost half of them, it's pretty significant. But to be fair, he is also really good. He does a lot of cool stuff. He buffs a lot of his units in the army. But we'll see. There's also Age of Sigmar 3.0 is coming. I saw some points today. I haven't seen some of the stuff I haven't seen Slaves to Darkness too much, so I don't know how much points he's going to be now. But I don't know, we'll see. Because I don't know how much play he actually gets in competitive. But you know, there's like this whole unit size thing now that you have to worry about, and we'll just kind of see where things lie. I'm excited. I've been painting my Night Haunt like you've been seeing on the channel, but I have another unit. I have a unit of 10 Blade Guys to go which thankfully their unit size switched to 10 instead of 5, so I don't have to reinforce them now. So that won't be a wasted unit on reinforcements. And then I had to paint a chain rest. I had 80 chain rests to paint, but I can only reinforce 3 times on a battle line unit now, right? So the units go to 30 instead of 40 each. So I saved myself from painting 20 extra chain rasp, which was nice. But also now that means I have to change my list up and figure out what I'm going to do, because, you know, the way battalions work now is way different than it was before. So it's a lot of changes all around. So we'll see what happens when the books officially come out and stuff, and I'll be able to get my hands on them and look at them. But I'm a little nervous because you can't use your War Scroll battalions anymore, which is, I feel like it kind of sucks, just because it, like, the flavor of your army, right? You don't get to build guys around that anymore. But, like, you know, I can also see the other side where, you know, like, as a competitive player now, I don't have to know what your battalions do and what specials they give you and all that kind of stuff. So, like, it's kind of good in that sense. But yeah, you know, it's a give and a take. Let's just keep on here. We're starting with the top half of this guy. On the box art, he has like little, looks like kind of like magma between these little shingles on his body. I was like, if I were to do that, I'd do like maybe like a purple in there, but that might be too much work that we can't get to this guy, especially just because of contrast paints and how they flow and stuff. I don't know if it's gonna be easy or not to get in there and do stuff. So let's go here. We've got up to here. Very cool. Ooh. Now let's now we got to start going on these little bits right here. Maybe we'll switch to a smaller brush probably, so they're not just leaking everywhere. Let's see. And I'm just getting his little pieces in between the wing cartilage-ish stuff, whatever it's called, little tendons or bones. Also I did end up buying another Adeptus Mechanicus model to convert my Skaven Arch Warlock with, and I've done that conversion already, and that's pretty cool, so that'll be coming up on the channel really soon. I'm really happy with that I decided to do that. I've been wanting to do it for a while now. So I'm holding this, his little chest armor piece that he has on, because I know with this color scheme that my brother used, the chest armor, all the armor bits are going to be black with gold trim, so I know I'll be able to paint over anything that kind of smudges or gets damaged from me holding it. But if you're not doing that, I would suggest wearing like a latex glove or something while you do this, if you're holding it with your hand, because it's a pretty big model, and getting it into a position that's comfortable to paint is kind of difficult. Just keep if you can see this, but I'm holding my wrist with my other hand, kind of anchoring it to my body when I do this, because I'm a good like foot away from this model right now. And I can see right here that it's dripped. So just kind of pay attention to that kind of stuff when you're working. Because if you can get it now, you don't have to worry about it later. It'll save you a headache of cleanup. So we got this side now. This model was fun to put together too. I mean, not every model that you build uses all the pieces in the box. This one did. Used every piece in the box. There was no extra pieces. It was just, here he is, which is pretty cool. I was able to get this guy for a nice deal. Someone was selling him on a Facebook group because he didn't win him, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. So I got him for $100, which is great because he's like $170 and then plus tax. So we had a nice deal, and we got to paint, and we get to paint a dope model for it. And it wasn't even built, it was just unbuilt and everything. Like all the pieces were there. There was no, I mean, there was a lot of, for some reason there was a lot of hair on the sprues. I don't know what that came from, but other than that, I mean, everything was great. So I was a little worried for a while though, because I was like, I wasn't hearing from the guy, and I was like, did you ship it yet? And he's like, oh, I wasn't able to ship it yet. And I'm like, oh god, am I gonna get screwed here? But I didn't. And then we can see here, so there's gonna be separation on these heads of the different types of animals that they are, so, or different, you know, chaos god that they represent. So we'll leave that that natural separation of the saddle to do that work for us, so that way we don't have to worry about a blend, or, you know, I don't even know how you would blend with contrast paints, to be honest. Like, maybe just do it while it's wet, and then make sure you wipe your brush off before you dip it in again. I think I have all the colors I need to get those heads painted correctly, because blue is Slanesh, and then, which is weird because like there's no Sneech head on here, or no, Slanesh isn't on here. One of them. I'm not too hip with the Chaos Gods. I know Nurgle because I think Nurgle's the coolest one. And then I know Khorne because he's the second coolest one. But then the other ones I don't know off the top of my... I think Zeech, whatever it's called, is that the, like, the BDSM clan? Not sure. And then I think this one, which is Slanesh? Slan? I'm thinking of Slan priests, and I'm not thinking... Maybe Sneech is birds. I don't know. One of them's birds and one of them's BDSM. So that's fun if you want to figure those out. But if you're a Chaos player, you already know which ones are which. Okay, cool. So we finished the whole upper almost. So we just got to get this guy's arm now before we run out of places to hold it. And we'll do, let me see here. Let me think about where I'm having this kind of go from flesh to armor. And also when I paint it too, right? You have to think about when you're going to paint this, what's going to be easier to hit with your airbrush, especially if you're in like a really tight area. So just kind of remember all your other steps that you have to do still while you're planning out your painting. That way you can make it easier for yourself in the long run when it comes to doing the rest of everything. So you don't put paint where you're not supposed to and just ruin your day on a bunch of stuff that you have to paint that you don't want, that you didn't mean to get painted like that. I'm going to this whole finger here. I think we're good. Or at least I'm going to call it good. Okay. I think for here, you can go a little bit there. Yeah, let's just kind of leave like that spot as the opening there. Okay, now we gotta get into the sides here. And we can kind of start working our way through this model to figure out where the surfaces are and what surfaces are what. Also, we should probably do the heads right now just because we're here and we're not going to be able to hold it once we put a bunch of paint on the bottom. So let's switch the heads out. So I'm just going to put this to the side right now. And then we're going to do the blue birdie. We use this Ethermatic blue for him, which is probably not the best thing to use for him, but I think I'm going to use the yellow for his beak. I think it's probably better. They probably have like better contrast paints for this, like a different blue, but I like this color blue. It's really cool. It's really vibrant, and I appreciate vibrant colors on models. Because you know, not everything has to be all grim dark all the time. All the time, always. Everything's grim dark all the time, always. Is that a... So we gotta look in here. Like, is that a part of the thing? What is that? We'll call that part of the saddle. Just start adding your blue in there. You can do a couple layers to make it a little bit more vibrant. Just following the hair that's on it. Make sure you're not leaving any white spots, because it'll show up really bright on here. Okay, so that's the blue. And now let's get his beak with this Aiden yellow. That on here so we can follow his nose. Follow your nose. Let me see, is that supposed to be... No, okay. I was like, is that like cartilage right here, or is this beak part still? It looks like it's still beak part. So we'll just go like that. Same thing here. fill it in and fix it later. That way we don't have to worry about, did we do it right at the beginning or not. Okay, so that's the Sneech, or so no, I think it's yeah, Sneech. Haha. Oh god. Sneech. Now we gotta do the corn head, which is red. Red and black, but I think, okay, let's go here. We got blood for the blood god, I think, which is perfect for corn because that's what they're about. What's right here? Oh no, blood angel's red. Blood angel's red. So let's get this little face painted here. So not the hair we don't want. We want kind of just the front bit here. See, I'm just looking at that. Keep looking at my reference to see that I'm doing what I'm supposed to. Because I want it to be kind of right. Okay, that. And what else? Okay, the whole thing. Okay. I was like, what else is the color? It's pretty much this whole section. And here, leaving that chin area over there to get with the underspray for our belly color. Okay. We can always do more red than we need to, just to kind of see if, you know, if we're doing, because we can always cover it up later with black paint, because it's black paint is that's gonna go here. So I think I'm gonna go red on the skin parts, and we can just paint the hair later black. I do kind of work in favor of that, and just be careful around the blue head. Also be careful not to splash you, because this stuff is like really watery. You don't want to splash it around. I think it's mostly hair in there, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, we'll leave it at that for this bit. And then kind of be good there. Okay. Well, we can actually kind of do the tongue of the birdie bird while we're here. And just kind of be done with the bird. Don't know if we want to also do his tongue, but screw it, whatever, we're here. You can always paint over later. Okay. So that does it for that. Now we'll go back to the plague bearer flesh color to finish out the rest of the skin of the dragon, and that'll be it for the contrast paint portion, until I decide that I missed a spot, and then we spend a whole episode going back and fixing our mistakes. No, I think we'll be fine. Also, the thing that made me worried about this model is that it's only really held on like right here. It's the only spot that's holding the model together. So I dumped a lot of super glue in there and accelerant to kind of hold it. I usually use model glue for these guys, because it's plastic and plastic glue works better on plastic, but you know, for something like that, like a secure connection, I usually go to super glue to just really make sure that it's gonna stay on. I start holding it by the base now and hope that we can get through the rest of the model like this. Kind of looking at the leg and seeing what's, I think this whole side is, and he's got some boils and stuff too, which is great for Nurgle, so we'll go through those and do some like pinky fleshy bits on those too. I think I've done an okay job of keeping it in frame this whole time, but you know, if I didn't, let me know in the comments. And be like, you suck at this part. Like I said, it's a difficult model to kind of wield around. He's a big boy. I think we're gonna do it like that. I think we'll leave it like that for the undercoat here. Just gonna go like that and just kind of do a little section there. And then here, kind of map out where we're gonna go with the line. Try to keep it into there, and we can go but there, which I think that probably fits more in line. Is it that these whole parts are that color and that this is soft, that this is not soft because it's exposed. His little hoof. My hooves! My hooves! Let's work on those areas. Getting this contrast paint everywhere that matters. Kind of get in there. Get that. So now we can work on the back here. And we can get the whole back of this tail with the green right now, since we know that this is all the carapace parts of him. And you can see like that zenithal spray that we did really kind of helping us out here, because then we get some variations in the texture and the, not the texture, but you know, like the shades and stuff on the model, and it's more natural than just a flat color on here. Is that a branch stuck in there? For these little crows? Maybe the crows? No, I'd say the crows are the, this is in each side, but no, we already have the bird head. Maybe the chains represent the BDSM bros. Slaanesh? The Slaanesh BDSMers. we're getting to the hair, which we're not gonna do right now. Get the front bit here. Okay. Just make sure we don't have any like giant clumps sticking anywhere. Get the rest of this leg there. Okay, and then we just get the, we'll just get the kind of back ends of the carapace as it kind of sits on top of this stuff. Just kind of get your brush and then find an angle and just brush it over the tops here, kind of over there, kind of over here. A little bit in between here. Let's just try kind of finagle it into the thing and kind of feather it into the area to give a nice little transition for when we spray. Cool, so that does it for our contrast portion. So we're gonna let this sucker dry and then we'll move on to the actual painting. We'll probably do the airbrushing next because we got to get all this covered, the wings and stuff, and then we'll do the armor and finish out the faces and stuff like that too. So yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes. Well, a second for you, but who knows how long for me. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, we are back. This thing has had enough time to dry. I got my airbrush here, and I think we're gonna try to give this a shot. I'm gonna be using a new product, so we're gonna see if this ruins everything or not, but so we're gonna get our German camo beige World War II. I think this is a nice, really good brown color to use for things like this, like undercarriages, I guess we can call it. So let's put some in here. And the new thing we're gonna be using is this. It's supposed to be flow improver slash thinner, you know, for acrylics, but it's white, so that's a little bit concerning to me, but we'll see. Oop, there's a cap on it. We'll see what happens with this stuff. I'm gonna spray it on my hand first to make sure that it doesn't completely change the color of what it's supposed to be, because I'd hate for that to happen on our model right now. You know, they always say, like, use a test model to spray it on. It's like, yeah, we just have we have test models laying around. Come on. Ooh, it smells weird. It smells fruity. But if this white pigment lightens our paint, we don't want that. So it's, make sure we mix it up in there really good. So far it looks like it's the right color. And let's turn on our compressor. Well, looks kind of good, so let's kind of going here. Just start filling in those little wings here. I'm leaving the black spots on there so that we have those shadows that we're keeping, so try not to keep it, try not to make it too dark in there. So you can kind of see what we're getting here. Just lighten up on the pressure when I go in here and I get close in. So far this stuff seems to be working a lot better than the old stuff that we used. That could just be that I mixed it right this time, or could mean that it is better. Little edges there. I'm gonna try to cover up as much of the white as we can. Don't want a bunch of white laying around. We could also hand brush this in if we wanted to, but I think the transparency of this is gonna work in our favor. That. So now let's work on the other wing. I'm gonna fix the other side too because we got a lot of white still. Laying it flat like this is a lot easier. Weird, it smells like candy. All this. Which I guess is better than smelling gross. Definitely don't eat it though. Don't spray it into your mouth. Like an idiot. So we got that. Let's work on the back of these wings now. But we still have the body to be able to hold on to. Got some right here that we didn't want to get there, but We can kind of wipe it off with our finger. Kind of spraying a little weird here. So let's just try to fix that. Yeah, so you can see that, so might have to go back in there with our Plague Bearer flesh and fix it. A little spotty on some of those areas. You know, I think, like, you know, I haven't had a lot of practice with my airbrush, so if you're better with your airbrush, your results will probably be a lot better than mine. I mean, I've used the airbrush, but I haven't, like, you know, maybe that'll be my next challenge on my next army, is to, like, use an airbrush to paint the whole army. That way we get better at it. We gotta get this whole area here. Doing the zenithal like we did too kind of makes it so you don't need the wash. You don't need washes as much, because that's gonna, your shades are already in there. I wonder if we can do that. Let's take this. No. Like, can we just wipe it off with the... Probably could have when it was wet. And just try to get a little bit darker over these areas where our contrast paint kind of built up or overlapped. there are the wings. We'll have to go back through here with our contrast and maybe pick that up, but we'll see when it dries if how transparent it is. Because if it's transparent enough, we might be okay. So now we gotta get this. So let's start with the easy part that's kind of sticking out here. Before we go into the more crunched parts of the model. Ah! Let's get some spray. Like there. Just getting these little areas that are hard to reach right now, since there we go. Okay, so now we can get that stuff. Gotta try to find a place to grab this. Let's just do our little flippy flips here that we're leaving. Oops. Lots of stuff on me. Make sure we're getting as much of the white that we can. Now we gotta get these arms. Oops. So flip it like this. Wipe that home. Okay. So this is also demonstrating why you would want to use sub-assemblies when doing some of this stuff. You'll definitely be able to get it, these sections, a lot easier than how I'm dealing with it right now. I'm gonna get these next here. Sorry, I have to move this kind of close to get into here. Kind of helps see what I'm doing here. Just turn this a bit more. We're almost there. I'm gonna do the inside there. So that'll get all our heads nice and trimmed. I think that does it for this color. I think it looks pretty cool. So far, so good. We haven't royally screwed anything up yet, so that's always a positive. We're gonna quit while we're ahead at the spraying and not trying our best not to ruin stuff. I think this stuff, because I'm using a flow improver instead of a thinner, I think that helps it because it keeps the paint from drying, which is a lot better because then it's not drying in my airbrush and getting all messed up. It's just staying. I guess the problem with acrylic paints is that they dry really fast. It's the good and bad, right? Like, alright, cool. So that's our cleaned out airbrush. And I think that's all of the airbrushing that we're going to be doing. I don't anticipate needing more. And now I think we're just going to go into the actual paintbrushing. Paintbrushing? What kind of term is that? Painting. Just a regular old school painting of things. So good there. This is back in the drawer. Clean that off. Take off the glove. Oh, got so sweaty. Okay. So now, what do we want to tackle? I think I decided I want to do purple fur because it's part of my brother's army colors. You know, like really bringing those into the army, into this thing is going to help kind of unify it with his army. So I have this Magos purple contrast paint. Let's see how it goes. So all these little hairs that we're gonna brush this on. And it's okay if it's not perfect because we have this zenithal working for us, and all these like transitions and stuff from the airbrush that we just did. So I think we're in an okay spot to just bring this into the fold here now. Should have done it earlier with the contrast paints, but you know, I wasn't ready to commit to a color yet. So we're just gonna go back to this step here and then this going. These little fiddly bits. And remember, so like I was saying earlier, like be careful when you're on those kind of bits, because once you hit those little ends, that's usually when stuff starts to splash. And you don't want it splashes. So just brush this purple on carefully to the fur areas. Since we had some green in here, it's gonna give us a little bit more variations of our colors, which if you don't want, you can go ahead and put white on before you do this, but I think we're okay. I think it'll kind of add some little blended colors in here. I think the purple green combo is really cool too. Ah! So now let's get this piece here. I think that also like fits more with Nurgle too, just to have these colors in here. Excuse me while I do this really quick. So that's all the hair. Oh no, it's not. We have the crotch hair right here to do as well. Little crotch mane. So there's that. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with our white paint and we're gonna hit all these skulls on here and the little boils that are on it, so that we can go in later with more contrast to fix those, or just regular washes. So we'll take our matte white. Ooh, put this away. We are done with this. Woo! Hitting everything. Now, I don't know why this dragon has skulls embedded in it, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so just go and start hitting these. And yeah, you're gonna hit your paint that you've done so far, but it's okay. If you want to go in later and fix it, you can. No one's stopping you. Unless they are, then there's nothing I can do about that. There's actually like some Stormcast helmets in here too, which I was noticing. That was a little weird. I don't know if my hair is in the way right now. The camera, I'm just trying to get in there and get all those spots. Get some on this leg. About here. Make sure that we got everything else okay. I got the back. I might leave the skulls actually just white, but the boils we got plans for. That's a Stormcast helmet right there that I just painted. So we'll have to find those. I think there's only the one, but we'll have to dig those out and make sure we paint those accordingly. So gold or whatever color you want to paint it for your Stormcast. Alright, that's all those. Now we'll do our black base coat of the armor piece on him. So we're just get our black. Ooh. I'll probably use a bigger brush, but let's take a look at it for a second before we... Oh, and we'll also paint the birds black really quick while we're here too, since they're like ravens. Okay. Let me... I wish I did this in sections, because now... Okay, this brush is not... I don't think this brush is good, but we'll see what we can do. Let's just rest it right there. All that covered. Then we'll do our dry brush after this dries, kind of bring it more in line with the armor of my brother's army, the best to my memory. And I didn't want to be like, hey man, send me a picture of your guys so I can see what they look like, because I don't want him to be suspicious at all, because I know he doesn't think I'm gonna, no way he would think I would buy this for him. He is not even really super interested in having this model as a part of his army, but who knows, he might change his mind after he sees how cool it looks. Hopefully how cool it looks. I'm doing this so that there's a consistent black color for the metallic bronze that's going to go on it. That way it's like I said, more in line with his army. Let's switch to a smaller brush right now. Let's go here. The good thing about that is that we can hit it with that color. Again, and it can be darker in that area. Oops. You don't want to put that much there, but like I was saying, we should be able to touch that up. Okay. Decently, at least. We really just want to be careful around our contrast paints, because without the white base anymore, it's hard to kind of match those up. Also, be careful when you're pulling your brush out, because you might hit something that you're not really seeing and mess it up. So just be careful. God damn. Keep hitting the tan parts. Okay. So this is the black armor on his chest. We can also tackle the black hair on this guy, on the corn head, while we're here. So let's go in here. I'm gonna have to get pretty close here and just start pulling paint through the hair, picking out those pieces and starting to get we can do this part first, since we know that the red, you're not going to really be able to see any of it down here, so you can kind of go a little wild in there, making sure that we're doing our best to get it covered here. Probably should get that collar first, but that's future my problems. Screw that. Screw future me. That guy sucks. Come here. Come here, you. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it to my chest really quick. Hold on 1 second. Just so I can get a stable platform to get some of this hair that's in here. And like I've said before, like in other videos, like you just really want to cover up the white. You don't want any of the white showing. Because when your white shows up, then it's like really clear that you missed. So it's better to overdo it, in my opinion, than to underdo it. Especially in those big clumps like that. Just get the top over here. Get the back sides of these little dreads that are sticking out. some of that stuff. Okay, so it gives us that. Now, let's get our birds really quick. While we're here, we can use a bigger brush for that because they're just birds. Like ravens or something. They're Warhammer ravens, trademarked, custom ravens. You need to get there. And there's probably lore somewhere that says why the dragon is the color it is, but you know, like it's not one god specifically. It's like an avatar of all of them or something, but I'm going for cool here, not for story. Okay, that's all our birds. That's all our black. Well, that we want to do right now anyway. And then really quick, we're gonna get our German camo beige World War II and fix up those necks, the neck areas where I hit with the black, just because they don't look so good. And it's okay if we miss it a little bit because that's a gold, we're painting that gold. And I hit right here. Okay, cool. Now I see a spot in there that we missed with our plague bearer flesh color. Like right here in this little shoulder area. So I just want to clean that up, make sure there's not anywhere else that I missed on this model. Yeah, there's some little goobers in here that we can at least get rid of the white, right? Like we were talking about. Okay. Now what? Now what? I think I'm gonna save the saddle for last. What does Nurgle's head supposed to look like? Teeth, gums, and horns. Stand by. How's this looking? This looking pretty good. Oops. Not missing anything there. Okay. Let's work on Nurgle's face. And get these. Let's get these heads done. Actually. So, first things first, we'll actually finish the corn head. We're going to paint its horns that beige World War II color. It works really good for bone, especially when you wash it with a Agrax Earthshade wash. So that'll pop out nicely for us. We had the paint down already, so I just need to turn this over and get the bottoms of the horns over here. Sorry. This thing is huge and my desk is small, especially like with the camera and stuff, so bear with me. Okay, so I got his unders of there painted and everything. Now let's get, okay, so we have this voluptuous pink, and we're gonna use that for the lips of Nurgle here. So let's kind of we're also going to be using this color for all the boils. So be prepared for that. There's his lips there. I think if we want to, we can kind of go after these boils now. There's some right here. There's some here. 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 Ugh, little claws. I was thinking about painting the little claws and talons this color too, but I don't 100% know yet if that's what I want to do. Because I don't know if it's too much or what. And if it's close to that purple, I do not know. Is that slobber coming out of its mouth? So I just noticed something on the corn head. It's like a horn? We have some white in here still. So we can take that and then get that. That. And get all these teeth here. Clean up his teeth. We'll do a little dentist work for him. But if there's still some in there, it's fine because it could be blood. He could just ate someone. Who's to say? Who's to say? Okay. Then we have some black still. I'm noticing some here. On that side. Okay. Let's get our Blood Angels red because I missed some spots on the lips here. So let's go back into this just clean up where you missed there. Okay. Now we can go into leather brown. And we'll get the horns on Nurgle and then all the straps. So let's start with let's get Nurgle's horns here. So let me set this down really quick and then yeah, Nurgle is, in my opinion, definitely the coolest one. Like, if you're gonna pick one, pick this guy, because he's got some cool stuff. His units, do the Putrid Blight Kings, my god, they do so much damage. Your 6s explode and do more damage. Like, come on, man. I have to go in here because I have to tilt it differently to get in here. So, pardon me. I paint these horns. Okay. So got his horns now. He's all horny. Like Sneech. Okay, let's this. So get this little strappy boy painted. I think to kind of go with my brother's army, I'm going to paint the cloth on that to be purple. It's probably the smart play. That. Now we do the same down here. Really enjoying painting this model. It's really cool. It doesn't feel like a chore. I mean, the models don't really ever feel like that to me, unless I'm like batch painting like a million dudes, which, you know, I'm sure we've all been there. And just keep hitting all those spots. Get these little straps back here. Now, this is where you guess, and you say, is this piece right here part of the model, or is that part of the saddle? I'm gonna go with part of the dragon instead of part of the saddle. And you might decide differently when you paint one. But with the information I have available to me right now, I think it's safe to say dragon. here. Okay, and then what is that? That's probably part of him that I missed. So we're gonna get our blue, aromatic blue contrast, and then just fill that white area in because we don't want any of the white to be there. So let's just get it in there. Get it in there. Same thing here with the red. It's just because remember what I say about the white showing. You don't want your white to show. A little bit over here, a little bit over there. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this, our reference picture again, and see kind of how they painted up this guy. Okay, so silvers and golds. Okay, well, now that this is dry, we can kind of work in some of the other stuff here. So there's a white spike sticking through it. And if you want to, you might do this. Let's give this a shot. So let's take the white and do this with it. And then we'll do, you guessed it, more contrast paints in here to kind of give this a glowing magma-y look. So just really quick while we're here, let's clean up those whites. Oops, not like that. Just take it off like that. So we'll wait for that to dry a little bit before we go super into there. But in the meantime, we'll take our brassy brass and start hitting the trim on there. Our gold trim of the armor. So I think we'll go here. Okay. I don't know if this whole side piece is supposed to be gold or what, but we're gonna say no for now. Just say no to gold. And we're gonna start getting that piece, the rest of the pieces here. I think when we dry brush it, it'll help bring it out more too. Which in hindsight, I probably should have done first. But we're too far now. We've gone too far. There's no turning back. if you're holding your breath like I am during these parts, make sure you take a break and breathe. Okay, let me see if you can see this. Okay. Take your time. Get all those pieces painted. Oh God. And don't do that I just did right there. We knew we had to touch up the black anyway, so it's gonna work out for us, but try your best to be careful. Oof, sorry. Cool. So there's that. Let's quickly get the parts of the saddle that we're gonna want to be this color. So that's that piece and this whole skull on the back. For sure. He's a big gold boy. So, and our stuff that we do to the gold to make it shine, we're not going to be doing on this because I don't know the wash my brother uses on his golds, if any at all. So I'm gonna have to postpone. It's probably black, honestly. We'll probably wash it with a black. Oh, it's its mouth. Remember when we were like, is that part of this or that, or it's its mouth. So this is its jaw. And then this part right here. Oops. Okay, let's get in here now. Okay, I get the back of it. And Archaon is huge too. He's like he's not normal Chaos Warrior size. He's almost like Demon Prince size, I want to say. Okay, here we go. Now let's get our black paint to touch up all the mistakes we made on the chest piece. So we just gotta clean up right there, and then clean up right here. And then, hold on. Let me see if we can do to clean up around the white here to make it a little bit cooler. Okay. And then we hit the underbelly part again because we're clumsy. So let's just get right there. Now let's get our metallic gunmetal colors, or for the chains and the other metallic parts of the model. Do that. Okay. So we're gonna start from here. We'll get this little piece here, this little buckle. We got the same buckle on this side here. Got another one back here. We got these chains and stakes in here. No, I also know my brother's Sigmar army, Stormcast army, sorry. I always say Sigmar for Stormcast. His Stormcast army is silver and gold, just like flipped normal colors, because we call them the Stormwind Eternals. So we'll paint that helmet like it's one of his Stormcast that got taken. We'll just keep pressing on with our metallic gunmetals here. Go all the way to the end. And we have to get it from this side too. So I'm gonna get on those little fiddly bits there. Just gonna have to be diligent on them. Okay, then we got this little buckle right here. Wow. Let me hoard you. And for these models, they're your leaders, right? You wanna take a little extra care on them to really pump up the cool factor of them. Okay, and now we can paint the metallics on the saddle. Look at the little stirrups here. I'm gonna paint these this color. Ooh, right there, okay. Still looks a little white in here, so we're gonna make sure we get that wet there. Should probably have a glove on because it's not sealed, and I don't want to leave. I don't want the oils on your skin taking off the contrast paints, leaving them all spotty and stuff. So I'm just gonna glove up really quick. Burp. Okay. Now we don't have to worry about messing it up. We just want to get all that white. Okay. And we do the same thing on this front piece here. I want to get this. Now I usually do a turnaround at the end of these, but I think this is too big to fit in the box, in my light box, but it might not be turning. But I'll give you some good shots of it. I'll try anyway. His little throne of a saddle. I wish all the armies had like a giant centerpiece model like this. Like I think they try on some people, like I think the Stormcast definitely have that. A couple, I think, actually. They have that dude on the, that's like the angel, like the giant angel. And then they have the dude that's on the giant griffin. And I think they have like a guy on like a Pegasus or something, like a unicorn Pegasus. But you know, some other ones need love. Like the orcs have the Maw Crusher, but that's not, I don't think it's this level. Like it's not like a centerpiece model. I mean Seraphon just got Lord Croak, which he might be. He looks pretty cool. He's pretty big. He's a big boy. Big mummy boy. Okay, there's that. Okay, I think. So now we're gonna dry brush the metallic on the black armor. Come on, give me this. And so that's gonna help bring out the shape more and really sell it as like armor and not just like a black piece. Right there. Nice, okay. Oh, we also forgot to do the collar here. So let's take a little brush back. I forgot that the corn head had a collar on it. think we're gonna paint that with the up here. Okay. Now we go to back to our brass colors and get the rest of this corn symbol. Get it all extra corny. And then again, we messed up and hit the spot back here, so let's clean that up. And then we'll take the silver here and we'll just kind of dot these little bits on here. Oh, I missed some hair. Y'all supposed to tell me that. It's a shade. I'm gonna have that over there. That's interesting. So let's get our contrast Megos purple. He has little hair under his feeties. So let's get here. And get the hair. There. And get here. So get there. Let's go here. I think so. For purple, for this, we're gonna use this Demonette Hide purple because I think this is the actual purple that my brother uses for his army and stuff. So let's start. All nice and covered up here. There's our saddle painted. Alright, now we need to make a decision on the claws. The more I look at it, the more I do want to do purple. I mean the pink right here. We're gonna use this yellow on the chest piece really quick though. On this white part. And that's gonna give us our like that gives us that cool little symbol on the chest. Okay. So then we'll do the arms. I mean, we'll do all the claws with the pink, and then we'll it should be dry by then maybe. We'll be able to do finish it off with the washes on the metallics. So we'll start from the bottom here. Just get all of this. He's going out on the town. He needs to have his nails did. Let me get under here. Clean that up. Let's get that side there. It's a little, see if we can get this little nugget claw right here. Make it a little. Okay. Oop. So we're giving our little guy some manicure. Okay, let's get all of these. Get all these. Just get all that. We're almost there, guys. We're gonna do it. You could paint your Tyranids like this too. Like I'm getting a lot of Tyranid vibes from this model, like just with all the spiky bits that are on it. Be careful this back here. Okay. Now let's clean up some of this Plague Bearer flesh around the head right here on Nurgle, the Nurgle side, because you can see our white. We don't want to do that. So. Okay. We got lots of weight in here on these little claws. Let's clean those up. Okay. Now let's get our black wash, and we'll call it done at that point. So let's get Nolan oil and hope we're doing the right wash that he did on his stuff. So let's take this. So let's just do the backs here. Do that. That all figured out there. Get that. Get the chains. It's like American Dad is on the living room and it's a musical episode, so I keep hearing the music and it makes me laugh. Singing Daddy's Gone right now. Okay, so here we're just gonna hit the gold so that it dulls it down, and then same thing on this corn head. Get the metallic in there as well as that stuff. I think we also want to wash it with a black to give it a black outline. Same thing on that. Here. Get the red parts back there too. Okay. And then I saw one piece that I missed. You're like, one piece? You haven't even done the base yet. Yeah, we'll get there. Get the nose ring though on the corn beast head. So let's just get that guy right there. Okay, now we have the base. We get our medium sea gray. And get these like ruin bits that are on here painted. And then while we have the gray out, we're also going to dry brush the ravens. Ooh, that's a lot. You said dry brush, not soaking brush. Just dry brush them a little bit with this gray. Okay. Now we'll take our German camo brown World War II, German camo beige World War II, and get along the base. This is like rock or something. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wash this whole thing with a brown to kind of dirty it up and stuff like that. So That's super. Now we get our brown and get all the leaves that, or the branches that are sticking out. These vines. Okay, now we got these golden cups and stuff, and get all those. And now when that dries, we'll just wash it. And we are good to go. So yeah, thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you on the next one. New videos every Wednesday. The next one's gonna be Archaon himself. Yeah, stick around for the turnaround. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.